3. Live from Sin City, Las Vegas. This is your motivational, sensational, inspirational, educational, aspirational, international, keenly awaited, daily created, highly anticipated edition of the afternoon swing trading floor with your humble host, Jeremy Alexander Newsom, with another daily dose of mentally delicious brain food, reminding each of you to love life, and trade it. Hope you're doing remarkable, incredible, fantastic, phenomenal. Ladies and gentlemen, guess what day today is? Any guesses? It's Wednesday. Wednesday. Oh my goodness. We got some moves out there in the markets today. Good grief. I love good gaps. I love nice movements. And this is one of those days where it's just a phenomenal day to be a day trader or to be in front of the markets or to know how this stuff really works and interacts with and moves and all that kind of fun stuff. Let's look at and zoom in here just for a moment on the SPY. What type of gap is this? Who can tell me? What type of gap do we have on the SPY today? Bull candle, gapping down. There's a gap and go. Yep, exactly. So bull candle, bull candle, bull candle. So today we opened below the low of numerous candles. People were trapped. People were scared. People were worried, panicked, terrified, upset. And again, I do still think the market can easily go higher. I'm not turning into a perma bear by any means, but this is a little bit of a bearish gap. And I think it started from the credit. America got downgraded from their credit again. I'm sure it's happened a few other times, but one of the bigger times that I was aware of was 2011 when I was trading, and America got a credit downgrade and market sold off for like 2 months and then they rallied higher. But this is a really, really good gap. And the Qs also, perfect gap. So I'm going to share with everyone how I day trade the Qs today for a profitable trade. And I'll explain why. But we had another gap and go on the Qs. But more importantly, and again, the gap, the sentiment, all that's good. I think all of us here understand, based on a lot of my education, why this is a gap and go. But beyond all of that, one of the questions I ask myself when I'm day trading did we take out the prior day's low or prior day's high? That's one of the questions I ask myself if I'm day trading. And the answer is yes. So not only did we take out the prior day's low, but we took out this low as well, and we did it with a gap. So not only did we move past it, but we opened past it. So that just created a lot of strength. And if I pop in here to a 3-minute chart, I actually did miss this particular initial trade, and I was a little bit sad about it. I had a phone call scheduled with a trader who wanted to be a part of real life trading. And so I hopped on that phone call and I missed this particular trade. But this was a beautiful, beautiful breakdown. Type in a 9 if you can see the compression. And that compression was occurring at a very, very normal place. This purple line is the pre-market low. All right, so you got some low, you got some support, boom, boom, boom. And we gapped down, right? We consolidated for like 30 minutes, and that was a very, very, very easy trade setup. I was watching it happening, and I was just smiling and trying to place myself into abundance because I was experiencing some FOMO because I missed the breakdown. Anyway, the trade broke down. The blue line is the 20 EMA on a daily, as I have it kind of marked, and you'll see it retest. And then I waited for my strategy, which is bull candles closing below the 10. So you had a bull candle here closing above the 10, which kind of resets the count. Then you had a bull candle closing below the 10. I made sure that that entry was below the low of this bull candle, below the low of this bull candle, and stop above a pivot, 20 EMA, and that was the trade setup. And that was my trade on the Qs today. That was a really nice little win. Nice little win. And you had a double bottom in here for that lunchtime kind of grind session, if you will. But that was a very, very easy setup. I mean, if you shorted anything in the first 2 hours of the market, I'm quite confident you made a decent amount of money because the gaps were easy, they were abundant, they were everywhere, they were simple to understand, and they had some really, really cool movements. So what are we going to do from here on the big picture? Well, this is a one black crow, good amount of volume. This very well could or can be a double top. Short term, again, I'm not saying the world's going to end. I'm simply saying we could get this and we can get that. I do think we make new all-time highs. Absolutely. By the end of the year, I think it's very, very reasonable. We all know we needed a pullback. We all know we needed a rest. And so now I think that this is going to happen. We're going to get a little bit of a rest, a little bit of a pullback, a little bit of a correction before we end up going higher. So that being said, this is a very, very strong gap. This is a double top. And if you're a day trading or swing trading, you should be doing some scans and just looking for bear day trade opportunities, quick bear swing trades, or after we have another day or two or three of rest, maybe look for some bullish put sales or bull put spreads to create your positions. So that's what I got. So that's the Qs. We got the SPY. Here's the Dow Jones ETF. Same thing, right? One black crow, nice little gap down. Mariella says, how do we scan for that? So I don't know if you got a chance to come to the afternoon room yesterday. Were you here when I brought up the scan system? Mariella says, yep, I saw it. That's how you do it. FinViz, that's how I scan. Super easy little tool. It's nice. It's really nice. But yeah, one black crow, a good gap, good volume. And I'm excited to see what happens here. It's going to be really, really fun to see what type of continuation we get if we get one. We have, again, a low on this big bear candle here, 352.04, 352.11, so almost the exact same low. So again, just keep an eye out for some type of quick bear day trades, swing trades in and out. And then as we pull back a little bit more, this is going to be a really, really good time, in my opinion, to buy the dip and get into some bullish positions overall. So quite excited about it. It's going to be fun. That's my broader market overview. Here's the IWM. IWM, which is the Russell 2000. You'll just notice that we're above the 200 and the 100, and we are at a resistance, right? Here's the resistance that we're at. Boom, boom, boom. So we're there. Bang, bang, bang. So again, a pullback makes tons of sense. Something like this and then a bouncing opportunity. Again, I'm still bullish. Today doesn't change anything for me, but it does mean that I'm able to day trade bearish, no problem. I'm always able to day trade bearish if the move looks adequate. Maybe a quick swing trade, maybe some other opportunities, but we have a lot of stocks to review. So let's go review them, talk about them, and see what we can analyze and maybe make some money. All right, here's Plug Power. Ticker symbol PLUG. And PLUG, I was looking actually forward to seeing if this was going to break out. We got to close above the 200 right here. That was 2 days ago. Then you got that small little bear candle. That was a bear candle that did close above the 10 EMA. So I was interested and excited to see if it was going to break out, and it just simply didn't. So no big deal. All good. That means I'm going to continue to wait on Plug. And if Plug can make its way back down to $10, then I'll consider maybe taking a trade on it. And obviously, if it just keeps trading sideways in between these long-term moving averages, that's also perfectly fine and totally understandable. All right, CROX. We talked about CROX just yesterday, and you're going to want to watch this one every single day. No need to scan. There's a perfect setup right here, waiting for us and waiting for the markets to really start moving. You're just right on top of the 100 simple on the weekly chart. So we're right on top of the 100 simple on the weekly. You have an inside week so far with 2 days into the week. Sorry, 3 days into the week, 2 days left of the week. So what I'm hoping is that we trade sideways and then we continue to build buying pressure and then we drop. That's what I'm hoping for. That would be my favorite setup on CROX. If we do break down tomorrow or Friday, then I will do a limit sell to short a pullback as drawn by Mr. Squiggles. But this is one I'm going to continue to keep an eye on. I will be in Nashville tomorrow and Friday, and I will be doing the afternoon swing trading room, and CROX is on that list for both days. So we'll continue to watch it, but have that on your watch list pretty frequently and just keep an eye on it to see if we break down, break higher, what we end up doing and how we end up moving, but it's going to be unique and pretty fun, I think. All right. Cool deal. So let's go ahead and hit up Tupperware. Tupperware talked about missing the boat yesterday. Again, I think this is a quick, or was a quick, hey, run up, make some money. If you sold, congratulations. Type in a 9 if you can see the strength of that gap. What a really, really nice gap that was. I mean, an open below the low of yesterday. Nice amount of bulls were coming in here. So you had some bulls hanging out, an amazing, amazing run up there. And you had that open below the low, trapping all types of bull traders. Tupperware, a little bit on the harder side to short right now. But again, this is one of my favorite intraday patterns, which is this triangle looking thing that kind of built on Tupperware before it broke down. I did not day trade this one today. I'm out of my trade on it in general, and there's nothing else really to see right now, in my opinion. So I think Tupperware can pull back. This is probably the last run up that it'll have for a while. Now, granted, let's just say hypothetically we get something like this and then we continue up. That's fine. So I'll put on the list for next week and I'll continue to glance at it just in case. But again, I'm not going to actively or aggressively look to trade Tupperware unless it kind of stabilizes and consolidates for a little bit longer. By the way, since it is Wednesday, everyone enjoying the All Access Pass, the open house week so far? I haven't altered anything. So this is really the exact schedule that you'll normally interact with every single day during the All Access Pass. It's been a lot of fun having you all, and I'm sure that you've all learned a bunch and was able to ask good questions. We're going to continue doing this tomorrow and Friday. So just want to say thank you for being here and for allowing us to enrich lives. It's been really a pleasure and very, very exciting. Mike says things are different from 2 years ago. I hope so, dude. I hope so. If you're not changing and growing, you're dying. Yes, brother. All right, cool. So to continue with the list, Spotify, ticker symbol SPOT. So Spotify is a fun one because Spotify is hanging out on 2 moving averages. Type in a 2 if you want to see what those moving averages are. So you got the 100 daily, and then here is the weekly. So you have 2 100 moving averages on 2 different time frames. And you'll notice that we are consolidating nicely here. So this is one to actually watch for both aggressive day trades and swing trades. It's kind of going in and out. I sold a put at 120 for end of August the other day. End of August. That was sold on the 27th. There we go. So if I get some share ownership of Spotify at 120, I would not be afraid of that. That would have represented from 180 to 120, a 34% pullback. I'd be doing it at the 200 simple on a daily chart and possibly the neckline, maybe, of an inverted head and shoulders pattern, but certainly there's some other support and resistance there. You can see a beautiful run up on Spotify. In fact, type the ticker spot into the chat pane if you have a Spotify account. So this looks like a natural pullback to me if I actually get some shares of Spotify down into here. And, we'll see what happens. I got a Spotify account. I'm not afraid of being an owner, not just a consumer. So if I can buy it nice and low, great. If I can get paid to be patient, great. And if that 120 put sale expires worthless, then that's also perfectly fine. Pinterest, interesting candle on Pinterest today. Pinterest did take out both the low and the high of today. Of yesterday. So today it took out the high and the low. Here's the first 3 minute. Here's the 3 minute chart on Pinterest. I'll show you something pretty cool. So this pre-market right here, this was, a bunch of short sellers that came in and boom, just dropped it. I was actually looking at Pinterest right here with all that little small bull candles trading sideways. And then I just stopped looking at it once I got triggered into the cues. So I did watch Pinterest today just to see how I was going to trade it. And I didn't end up trading it, is the long answer to a question that wasn't even asked. So with this bear candle and this really indecision candle, type in a 7 if you can see how it's occurring at resistance. So resistance, 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 resistance. So it's a very, very nice, cool indecision candle. This will be a very, very fun spot for me to track Pinterest if it eventually closes above this level. End of day close. There we go. So if we close about, let's call it 29.5, I'll be quite surprised and impressed. And that'll show more bullishness than bearishness to me. And then I'll look to go long Pinterest down there. Otherwise, I think Pinterest will probably trade back down to 25 at some point, and then I will sell puts again on Pinterest down here at 22. So this is where I would prefer to buy Pinterest, but if it does close above here, I could consider taking a risk on that trade, but I would really, really like to buy it at 22. This has been a very fun stock to trade. Buy a couple thousand shares, buy low, sell high, hold it for a bit, let it run up 3, 4, 5 points, sell it. Yeah, this is a fun trading opportunity here on Pinterest. Scott says, how many open day trades do you usually have at once? No more than 4. I oftentimes like having 2. Today I had 1 bullish and 1 bearish simultaneously. The bull trade obviously didn't work. The bear trade did work, and I was done for the day, which is all the time, by the way. You've all heard me say this probably 400,000 times, but I lose on a trade every day, and I generally win on a trade every day. And as long as you win more than you lose, all good. I'm a professional coin flipper. I get paid a couple $100 every time it hits heads, and I have to pay a couple dozen dollars every time it hits tails. And you just repeat that process over and over. Yeah. Great question, Scott. ROKU, evening star reversal, 1 black crow on ROKU today. All kinds of space for ROKU to retest this candle and just pull back a little bit. I certainly don't think it's a negative if ROKU pulls back to even 80 and then bounces. It by no means has to, but it could, probably will. Here's the weekly chart. And I mean, you're just so far above a lot of the weekly moving averages. I think you could rest up here and just kind of pause for a little bit. But ROKU is going to have some really good edge. Again, every single day, you can keep your eyes on this one. It's had the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days in a row. It's had some very, very good, clean movements. Here's the 3-minute chart. And this is how Jeremy Ritz played ROKU today. Here's a little bit of a pre-market support. You can see how that pre-market support broke down, but nothing special. Let me turn the 10 EMA on. Ladies and gentlemen, type in a 9 if this is a bull candle closing below the 10 EMA. There you go. So don't overcomplicate the strategy. That's how Jeremy played it. Entry was there. Stop was above this wick. Actually, I don't remember if it was here or here. So you have to forgive me. It was one of those 2 spots. But, and then he made money and that was it. That was the trade. There you go. Done and done. Did I take that trade? Nope. Camping everything. That's all right. There's a lot of really good trades out there today. So that's ROKU. 1 black crow, has some edge. Let it pull back, buy the dip, be in long when it pulls back. MCHP microchip. You know, I actually did short this one the other day, and I got just barely stopped out on that day, which was unfortunate. So now we have another 1 black crow on microchip. And so the question is like, should I try shorting it again? And the answer is no. I'm going to wait until earnings and just see how earnings comes out on microchip. And then after earnings, I'll probably day trade it to see if I can get that R back. And if you're like, well, why'd you lose an R, Newsom? Type of 10 if this is a bull candle closing below the 10 EMA. Yeah. So if you're like, oh, well, wait a minute. Are you telling me he took a 10 EMA setup and lost? Yeah, that is exactly what I'm telling you. Shorted there, stop losses at the all-time high, got stopped out. There's the R down the tubes. So there you go. That was definitely a loss. Let's see what happens on earnings. It is at an all-time high. And, you know, if it gaps down, great. If it gaps up, great. But now that I lost an R, I would like to go back, day trade it after gaps and see if I can make that R loss back. OKTA, real bummer. I'm really sad about this one right now. Super close to our target, and then, you know, obviously pulled all the way back. So lame. So now I'm gonna have to increase the target because we didn't even, you know, we didn't hit it. And I'm gonna have to hold through whatever this pullback is and then just pray to God that it goes higher. Here's the long-term moving averages. So it traded into the 100 and there's the 200 acting as a support. I'll see how big the pullback is in the broader market. Earnings is about a month away, so we got time on that. We'll see how it interacts with the 200. Could I have sold off of the 100? Yes. And that really was my intention. You know, here's a resistance. We got very close to hitting the target, just didn't quite get there. Could another trader, instead of doing exactly what I did, sold it at the 100? Absolutely. That would have been really cool. And if you did, congratulations. I did not do that. So now we're gonna have to wait to see how it interacts with the 200 again. Hope it bounces, move the stop up, and rinse and repeat. That is OKTA, increased target. Same thing with advanced auto parts, right? So the whole market is pulled back today. So if you're in anything bullish, it pulled back. So I'm not allowed to move my stop if I'm in bullish on bear candles, because that means I'm doing it out of fear. So if we get some bull candles coming in here and some pivots created, I will increase the stop on advanced auto parts and move those up. So AAP also had a pretty nice gap down, opening below the low of yesterday, sinking down, and that's pretty much it. The overall trend is definitely bearish on advanced auto parts, for sure. And we are bottom fishing a little bit on this one, for sure. My hope is that, you know, we'll get a little bit of bids out there, some people will start to buy it up, and then we'll form a pivot and be able to increase the stop and lose small. Yep. RIVN. So RIVN had an okay comeback today. It came down to the 50 EMA. So again, we're in this one bullish. It was down, but not a whole heap ton. Nice little hammer style candle, almost at the 20. So if we do get some type of good bullish pop out of here, I think that'd be kind of cool. I still plan on most likely closing this before earnings. But in general, I like the hammer. This is a good one to watch just in case we have strong bullishness tomorrow or Friday, because if we break the high out of this one, I feel like RIVN pulled back less than a lot of other stocks did. Even though it was down 5%, I think it was also down 5% just because RIVN's very volatile. But we did bounce off the 50 EMA on a weekly, which I like. And we're just kind of retesting the 20 as well. So let's see what happens on RIVN Automotive. I'm going to continue to watch very closely Bullfrog. I'm going to put this on the list for tomorrow. And the way I'm going to watch this one is going bullish. How do I want to go bullish? Going bullish above somewhere around here, maybe. Something like that. Now, if you're wondering why, well, this is a bear candle closing above the 10 EMA. That's pretty much why. That's a strategy I've been practicing and working with almost exclusively for about 2 years. Today's also an inside day candle as well. So some pressure building on it. I'll let you all know tomorrow if I make this official or what that looks like. But, you know, some okay looking moves here. I like the consolidation, and we'll see if it starts to go higher or not. If you look at the weekly chart, a lot of volume coming in here and here. That looks kind of nice. So we'll get to see, we'll get to find out, and we'll play it tomorrow. We'll analyze it a little bit more in depth. The cruise lines didn't really do much. Carnival, this is gonna be an interesting one, I think. There's a lot of room between the 20 and the 50. And again, I'm really not specifically bearish, meaning like I don't think it's going to go to zero. But One and two things to focus on. There is a level of support in here, and I just don't know exactly how strong it's going to be. I'm interested to see what the markets bring us tomorrow. But if you are trading and you're comfortable trading bearish, I think that's a pretty interesting setup. This is a bull candle closing below the 10. It's also an inside candle. And if we took out the low of this candle and eventually close below this one, and this one, we would close below the low of 4 bull candles, all closing below the 10. And with that much room into the 50, I have no fear in making that an official trade and just seeing if it plays out or not. 1752 by 1852. Let's go bearish on Carnival and swing trades. All right. New swing trade on CCL. Today is 8/2/2023. CCL 1752. I like it when it's just $1. That makes it a lot easier. And then 1852. Beautiful. Wonderful. All right. So Norwegian is a little bit farther down than Carnival, right? We're already at the 50. And it is a good gap. And yes, today is an inside candle. And I do anticipate on buying some Norwegian, but only after we pull back down into those long-term averages, which is around 1755, which is also the retest of this old resistance, new support. And again, as I mentioned yesterday, if we trade down to here and we do this, I'll make money. If we trade down to here, consolidate, and then break down, I will be losing money. I will buy protection, AKA put options, to protect myself on the downside. I will create, hopefully, cash flow with those trades and then buy more shares of Norwegian if we get back down to the support. A trade like this is not adding to a losing trade. A trade like this is planning in advance where you're going to get in. And even if you're getting in lower later, that's not a losing trade, right? A losing trade is you get in, you're fully in based on what you created, based on what you planned, based on what you thought and projected, you're in, and then it doesn't go the direction that you want and you start freaking out and then you add to the trade. Two different things. So this is pre-planning where I would like to get in if something doesn't go wrong, if something doesn't go right at the prior levels. In my opinion, I think those are two different things. And this methodology does work very well, especially if it's a company that you know, use, like, understand, which Norwegian checks all those boxes for me. Cool. Google, GOOGL. So Google also had a great gap. The whole market did. So it just kind of looks like we're going to follow the green line a little bit. And now at this point, again, I think we could all buy a dip on Google all the way into 115. Pyramid in, even if it's 5 shares at a time, 10 shares at a time, make sure you get some Google. Obviously, I don't think Google's going away anywhere soon. I don't think it's going to go to 0. Had a nice flag pattern. This is a good close. And although today feels terrifying and scary, when you're looking at a lot of weekly charts, it's not that big of a deal. It really isn't. So yeah, I think we're going to do okay on Google. I think it's just a little bit of a buy the dip. Amazon earnings right around the corner, and we will see. You know, I think Amazon probably gaps up a little bit on earnings. That's my plan. Very, very small gap up. So it's going to be Thursday. I think they're going to lose, and they're going to have an interesting amount of losses from shipping, fuel costs, transportation costs, things like that. They'll probably do pretty well overall. They're only estimated to make $131 billion last 3 months. No big deal. But yeah, let's find out what happens on Amazon. Here's the weekly chart, and you have the 200 and 100 simple on a weekly kind of acting as support. If Amazon's going to save the market, which, I mean, it could, the only way it will is it has to gap above 138, 139. Has to. If Amazon's going to save the bear market that we just got into, the selling event, we need to open up above 138. If we gap down, we're just going to have a little bit of a bigger pullback in August on the whole markets, which is fine. We need it. I'm okay with it. But yeah, I think Amazon has a small gap up and it's like a nothing. It opens at 131 and then continues to chill and does nothing. That's my thought. Which means it'd be good for credit spreads. So if there's a premium to sell some puts, sell some calls up here and create an iron condor, then you would know, right? The only way that you have to worry is if it opens above 140, and then you would just kind of work on unraveling. So that's obviously best case scenario is an open above 140. If you think that's going to happen and you want that to happen, you can just buy some 140, August or September call options and risk your R and go from there. Tesla, I will show you the one trade that I lost on Tesla, the one trade I wanted to win on Tesla, but then Jason started doing some fun things with a crayon and a marker, and I lost concentration for a second. That's my excuse. It's only excuses. But I will walk you through how I traded Tesla today. Tesla was a pretty nice tradable stock. Did it open below the low of yesterday? Yes or no? The answer is yes, it did. So that means you're able to trade it. All right. So here's the 3-minute chart. Now, the initial move was a very, very good fade, right? It gapped down the pre-market. It had a nice little run up. If you played it bullish based on this bear candle here, I perfectly get it and totally understand. I did go bullish on on Tesla. And I went bullish essentially just based on the pre-market resistance. After I had a big run up, I said, let me buy it on the retest of a pre-market resistance with a stop below the low of the day. So that's what I did. Have my stop loss there, which was $3 away. No big deal. It started bouncing. Actually did go profitable. And when it was going profitable, I was also setting up my bear trade on the Qs. So when this was profitable, the Qs was looking a little bit weak. So I said, okay, let me set my bear trade up on the Qs. If I lose on Tesla, I will lose small. And if I win on the Qs, I will try to win big. Now, the trade that I wanted to take was actually a bearish trade on the Tesla. And I was going to move my stop to here to lose about 0.4, loss about 0.58 on Tesla, which is an amazing loss. I'm very happy with this loss. This trade you can see is the one that I was looking to short, and that would have gotten an R back easily. But this was a very, very clean short on Tesla. So I'll hide everything. If you got the opportunity to see bull candle, 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 all of those were candles closing below the 10 EMA that were great signals to short if we took those out. Took them out, retested them, whatever. So here's some pre-market support. There was definitely a lot of reasons to play the bearish move on Tesla in here. And again, I did not get a chance to catch that. It's kind of sad, kind of unfortunate. But there's also a few traders that played this 10 EMA candle. Type in a 9 if that's a bear candle closing below the 10 EMA. So there's a few people who played that bullish. Entry there, stop there. And they won small. It wasn't like a monumental win, but it wasn't a loss. And if you played that, congratulations. So there was a bunch of traders that played Tesla up, and there was a bunch of traders that played Tesla down. If you want, one of the best things you can do, team, for your trading, if again you are here and if you want to make money in the markets professionally and like full time, I think one of the best things you can do is study other people's charts. So here's Jose Lopez, his trades. You got the bull candle closing below the 10 right there. He had a stop loss up there and just absolutely scorched it for a beautiful, beautiful win. So again, I love studying people's charts. Alex Newton, same thing on Tesla. Saw the bull candle, saw the support form, saw the fact that you had a decent, okay risk reward into the previous low. So Alex, great trade. Win. Scared money makes no money. Shorted Tesla, also a beautiful breakdown. Gorgeous work. Kevin made money on Tesla. So you got to see how everyone can have the very, very similar approaches. And if you know a strategy, it can work numerous times. So anyway, great stuff. I love it. Fantastic work on Tesla. Awesome job. So what now, Newsom? What now? Well, we're still in the A wave down. And we're getting very, very close to, and we're kind of interacting with the 100 simple on a weekly. One of the things I think you could do is buy some shares of Tesla for the long term, 5, 10 shares, something like that. Buy some shares, be in some shares, long term, own them. Don't trade them and just buy them low and sell them later. I'm watching for Tesla to gap up tomorrow. I think it's going to open. I think it's going to open above the open of today and present a bullish opportunity. Now, if I'm wrong and we open below the low, that's fine. We'll be in short. Jeff says, are you still short with me, Jan? Off of this 10 EMA, bro? What a layup. How could you not? Bull candle closing below the 10. It's almost like it was telegraphed. My G. Yeah, really good pull into the 100 on the weekly chart. Here's again, the weekly time frame. So we'll see if we bounce off of this tomorrow. If we open below the low of today's candle, Tesla will sell off very, very aggressively. And tomorrow and Friday are going to be a very key day for Tesla. Netflix, not a whole lot to look at on Netflix. You know, we had a gap down, looks like everything else. I'm looking for Netflix to trade back down to 410, and I'll look to go long around 410 again, which is the bunch of moving averages there to support that analysis. And then if Netflix breaks this level, then I'll day trade it bearish into here and then look to go bullish at 370. Most stocks, again, had some selling today. So here's a firm, AFRM, hit a resistance and it's going to pause. Earnings is forever away. Beautiful, beautiful resistance here on a firm at 1952. Very strong weekly chart, right? You got the 50 on the weekly. So yeah, there was a lot of reasons for the bears to take control of a firm. Again, had a really, really pretty sell-off, right, this morning, as most tech stocks did. And it's an interesting candle. So yeah, no trade on it, but nice resistance. I'm glad it held. Polaris, just kind of interacting with that hammer that came in from the other day. So pretty decent hammer, decent little candle, actually closed bullish today. Trade down into the 20 and started bouncing. So that's kind of nice. Overall trend still looks bullish on Polaris for anyone who might be in that one. First Horizon is a small bank called First Tennessee. I have an account with them, as you can see right there. And interested to see what happens. I did take a trade on First Horizon. I did buy some shares of First Horizon, and I'm out of those shares now. So now we'll just see how much we pull back. I would like to pull back to 1150 or 11 if we can. If we do, I don't have a position in it anymore right now. But if you live in Tennessee or really the Southeast, you've probably heard of First Horizon. And this is another regional bank that I'm quite interested to see what happens to it or with it. I don't think it's going to go to zero, but I've said that before and I was wrong. So the 200 simple on a monthly, if you adjust the chart for dividends, is 1188. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm looking to buy some shares again, just to accumulate to see if it ends up bouncing or not. First Solar. So First Solar, I'm looking a little bit more on the bear perspective right now because you had the really big gap up. We've had a bunch of bear candles in a row. And I would like to see a retest and then a failure. We just had earnings. Here's the weekly chart. We're nice and high. You zoom out, right? We're up there. We're at some resistance. And again, not certainly saying we're going to go to zero, but retesting that retest gap, hitting some of these moving averages and just slowly creeping down short makes a lot of sense. And then once it gets down low enough, maybe some bull put spreads or some put sales or something like that. AMD, dang it, this one was fun today. Whoa. I missed all the money on AMD. So if you guys caught some AMD, congratulations. Super proud of you. I missed it, unfortunately, which is fine. No big deal. And the reason I missed it, they didn't have one buying candle on the 3-minute open. I knew it was going to fade. I had zero doubt on the fade, but I just opened and just for a free fell. So I talked about that yesterday, right? It would gap up and sell off. I didn't expect the strength at the selling, but it did. That's really it. I missed AMD, the sell off on AMD. But at open, I was able to buy to close my put sales for a profit, which was very nice. And now I'm out of put sales on AMD, and I'm looking to get into some again once the premium is there, and it's almost there. So late August, early September, around 100. I do think we hit the 100 within a couple of days. I don't think we're done selling on AMD, right? We probably have a little bit of a retracement tomorrow, and then we slowly hit the 100 and we kind of pitter patter. And then we'll see if we pitter patter and then break the 100 bearish or break it bullish. We'll find out. But going to watch this one pretty closely. Again, I just don't mind owning some shares at 100. But I'll be looking around the 197, 98-ish area for some good premium and look to sell some puts down there. Square down 5%, earnings right around the corner. I'm interested to see what Square does on earnings. My guess is Square gaps down on earnings and just kind of hangs out and does its thing. So looking for probably a small gap down on earnings on Square and then just hangs out and does whatever. I don't have any position. So I'm just kind of waiting it out. Looks like a little bit of a double top's trying to form. We'll see what happens on earnings. We shall see. Las Vegas Sands. I bought some Las Vegas Sands at 53.78. I did a monthly chart review of Las Vegas Sands. If you adjust the chart for dividends, the 100 and 200 was right on top of each other on the monthly, and I just thought that was a good spot to buy. So I did buy some 2-3 weeks ago, right here, early July, and then it had a nice little run up, and dividends are around the corner, and that's really all I got on Las Vegas Sands. If you want to buy it, 53 is the area. And if you want to sell it, 60 is the area. It's only $7 a share profit. So buy low, sell high, Las Vegas Sands. Marathon Digital Holdings, earnings right around the corner. You'll hear me say that a bunch. Is this a flag pattern? We will see. Right? Flag, pennant, some type of construction, compression, but it is occurring right at the 100 daily, 100 weekly and 200 weekly. So if you think they're going to crush earnings, you probably want to buy calls because that flag pattern looks really, really strong. And obviously, if it gaps down, then that's also okay. And that's probably more likely. Yeah, so Mara and Riot probably have small gap downs on earnings. But hey, again, anything is possible with the cryptos. I really do enjoy these weekly moving average crosses right here. That looks really nice. So let's find out what Riot does. But the charts look pretty. I mean, if they do show some strength, be long. The trends are bullish right now. I agree with that totally. Lucid Group, we're gonna have to wait until earnings. It's doing absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. WW International, Weight Watchers, has earnings as well. This is one that you probably if you have time, could get into a strangle, which is buying puts and buying calls. Usually Weight Watchers has some pretty gnarly gaps on earnings. And I think this could be one of those, right? If it gaps up to 13, it's going to squeeze some people. Let's go look at the short float on Weight Watchers. What is the short float? Short float, 15%. Wow. That is high. So yeah, so if this gaps above 13, it's going to run, and it probably gaps down. But summer is here. People probably bought a lot of Weight Watchers because they want to get ripped like Stafford. They want to have a six-pack like Luke. So people probably bought a bunch of Weight Watchers, and it gapping up over earnings it makes sense. I get it. I see why it would. Let's put down the list again for next Monday and just kind of keep an eye on it. Let's keep an eye on it. Here's FUBO TV, not FUBO, sorry, FUBO. FUBO TV. FUBO is another brand. You got the 50 on a weekly chart interacting as a resistance. The daily chart hanging out, and again, earnings is around the corner. I personally think that this is just an absolute dust bowl of a stock. If you're bag holding it, sorry. And I don't foresee it. I don't foresee anything happening cool with it personally. Best case scenario, this thing gets bought out by like DraftKings, some type of fancy sports company, and that's his best case scenario. So all good. Mary Ellis says that was one of my big mistakes. Hey, we all make them. We all make them. Just don't repeat them. That's the key. That's the key to making money in this game. Make a mistake, learn from it, and it is okay. Mattel, the Barbie movie is out and about. Flag pattern on Mattel. Consolidation. It's like, will this do anything of interest that is cool, that is amazing, right? We'll have to find out. I really like this gap down. That's possible on Mattel, but earnings are done. So, it had earnings, it ran up, it spiked up in the 2250. Blue chip, the 100 simple is at 2066 on a weekly chart. The 100 and 200 on the weeklies here. So it's consolidating, it's trading sideways. I'd buy some shares. I would buy it slow. I'd buy it low, and I would just hang on until it went higher. It's Mattel. It's not going to go anywhere for a while, I don't think. CXAI. Oh boy. Doesn't look great. This is a tough chart. I think the only way I could play this one is that it'd have to be on like an hourly. And I'd have to have watched it and analyzed it, and you could maybe day trade this one. Or like I said, if you swing trade it on like an hourly chart or something, 15-minute chart, but don't see anything that I like a lot. If it broke this support at 632, it probably goes all the way back down to $2 if I had to guess. All right, ticker symbol AI down 10% today. AI had a big push yesterday up into 45 and then sank today with the rest of the market. My buddy Wayne has a covered call, so that covered call really declined in value today, so you could probably buy that one back. We haven't hit the 50 in a while. So this one does still have good bullish momentum, and AI has been a very fun stock to watch for day trades as well. It's just had some super good edge. So if you're keeping an eye on AI, the ticker for both day trades and swing trades, I think that's reasonable. This is also a really good one to watch for put sales and bull put spreads, because it has slowly been going up and the volatility is nice. And anyway, saying all that to say, I'll be selling some puts and doing some put sales and stuff like that around 32 and some change, right? Buy low, sell high, and kind of letting this thing hang out. But I will also be looking to actively manage and trade this one in this channel that's going on the hourly chart. So you zoom out and look at the hourly, you can kind of see like there's something at 37 and there's something at 42. Buy low and sell high. Elf Beauty. If you go to Target or you wear makeup, you probably know a little bit about Elf. Over the last year and a half, it's gone from 20 to 130. No clue why. Everyone's buying it. Is this exhaustion volume? Don't know. But it has some decent edge, and I'd probably would have a hard time shorting it. I feel like this is the time to short it if you're going to take a stab. I mean, it's just gone up every single month for the last 13, 15 to 18 months. And you can look at it in hindsight and barely make money on the downside on this thing. So that's why I would be very, very cautious shorting it. But I mean, if you want to, like this is probably the time. From a day trade perspective. I mean, if it takes out the low of yesterday or the high of yesterday, you can do whatever, but I'm not very good at calling the top. I probably would try to shy away from it on Elf Beauty. And if you're in shares, congratulations. Trim and trail and look to and consider getting into a collar. Neo, man, this stock is so strong right now. It's getting bought up every other day. I did not take this trade. I really wish I would have, though. I just didn't see it. It wasn't on my radar. Wasn't even on my watch list, but type in a 7 if you can see the perfect 10 EMA setup. Right there. There it is. So if you were watching Neo and you did not trade that, bad on you. Practice it a bunch tonight so you can get better. But man, this trend is pretty strong right now, really. I think we could pull back slightly and trade sideways for a little bit, but I think ultimately Neo is going to go higher. Disney had a big gap down today, closed below the low of all that bull volume. Again, Disney's going to be very, very boring for a while. I think best case scenario, you can buy it off the 200 simple on a monthly chart. If you adjust the chart for dividends, it's like at 79.50. And if you don't adjust the chart, it's like 83. Buy low, buy slow, buy and pray, buy and hold for 5 or 6 years, and it might eventually go up. And if it breaks that support, you're going to want to protect yourself, which is fine. I mean, hey, right? Hedge with options. Earnings is around the corner. Just make sure you know your numbers. Make sure you look at the numbers and you really figure out where you want to be in the grand scheme of things for your cost basis and everything on Disney. Fisker, earnings around the corner. Looks a lot like Lucid, acts a lot like Lucid, drives a lot like Lucid, charts a lot like Lucid. I mean, how much money are they going to make? You know, they thought last quarter they're going to make 5.2 million. They made 200,000. That's like selling one car, by the way. Same thing over here. They're like, we're going to make 1 million. They sold 3 cars. I don't know. I mean, if they actually sell some vehicles, maybe, but Lucid and Fisker, I'm not big fans of. Gina made some beautiful money off the breakout of this triangle. Type the letter T into the chat pane if you can see an immaculate triangle on Costco. Very, very nice. All started with a hammer candle and just, so now, yeah, buy the dip is in full force on Costco. Wait it out. Let's see what happens. Gina, I bet you could sell a put below 540, and I bet you could eventually get some shares below where you sold the shares, and that would be a big win for you. So buy low, sell high. Let's see what happens on Costco. Very nice little run up there. DXCM, Dexcom. This has been a cool looking chart, and don't see anything that I love on it right now. Earnings is over. I probably would do something non-directional down here unless we broke this support. If we broke that support, I would short it. That was a very, very beautiful shooting star candle. And I would have loved to have day traded that drop there. Obviously, I did not. But yeah, I mean, this is the first bull candle closing below the 10. This is a little bit of a double top pattern. And if it traded up into 130, I could take a little bit of a stab on a short trade, do some other time frames and see if there's some check marks you could get on the bear trade. Doesn't look like there will be, but that's what I would do. GPN Global Payments, 2 great volume candles back to back, 2 good gaps, 2 good movements, and we just ran into a brick wall. the 100 simple on a weekly chart. So this is the one I'd probably watch for a day trade or some type of active, quick, short position. And we can look at this maybe next week just to see what it does. I don't have a trade on it now. I don't have any position on it, but I would like to see if I could day trade it bearish. Just because, again, we ran into the 100 simple on a weekly. JP Morgan, Morgan, crushing, broke out, bounced off the 100 simple on a monthly like it was its job. Came down, touched it once, and then just boom, off to the races. So now what on JP Morgan? Well, now my thoughts are this is a cute little hammer. It is below the 10 EMA. It's a hammer-ish candle. And I'd be okay for a quick little drop on JP Morgan. Inside day, and then a couple point move down, and then go long. Go long around 141 if it pulls back that far. Trend is bullish, definitely buy the dip. You're above all moving average on all time frames. And this is just a small, cute little hammer. Depending on how we take out that hammer, close below that hammer, or open below that hammer, that could move nicely. PTRA, Proterra, motor vehicles, consumer durables, earnings are right around the corner. A little bit of a cheaper stock. But I do like this bear candle, right? This little resistance area. I don't think we're going to be able to get out of that before earnings, but this is some bear candles closing below the 10. We've had a few other ones, so it's not the first one. But it's the first one in this sequence. Okay. Let's put down the list for tomorrow. It looks good. My biggest concern is could we get out really before earnings? All right, just a couple left. Uber. Uber had a one black crow, talked about it retesting a little bit today, and then maybe we'll see if it rolls over. And that's really it. Look to create some sell high, buy low opportunities on Uber if you want to, and if you don't want to, then just keep waiting and buy it lower. Fresh works with a beautiful gap and go. Nice indecision candle. Really, really pretty weekly chart. This one's got to go on your list for sure, my friends. It has nowhere to go but wherever it wants to go. And that place is probably higher. Something like this is what I would like to see. Usually gap ups with these type of dojis. That's kind of like what we get. So what I'm going to do is just draw some lines, put down the list for tomorrow, keep it on the watch list, and monitor it daily to see if we can make some gains on that. CVS, gap down, bullish engulfing candle. Pretty cool looking move. Good earnings, good volume. Probably buy the dip. Weekly chart, we're below the long terms. Monthly chart, we're about to hit the 100 on a monthly. I'd wait for this to go up to 80, and then I would get into a bear call spread. That's what I would do. Or if it did pull back over the next 3 or 4 days, I would get into a bull put spread. So bull put spread first, bear call spread second, create a condor probably sometime for September. I'll put down the list on Monday and kind of keep tabs on that to see if we can get some good premium for that position. And then last but not least was run, RUN, sun run. Nice bearish gap and go today, and it is gapping up on earnings. The question, of course, is will it hold? Will it hold until tomorrow? The overall trend is down on Sunrun, and you're kind of gapping up into a resistance. I don't think it's going to hold between now and market open. But if it does, and it continues to stay up above 1950, I think you could absolutely watch this for a day trade. I think if it opens above 1950, it could trade up into 21, and that could give you some decent alpha opportunities for some day trading gains tomorrow on RUN. If it does not run relatively hard and relatively quick, look to short it. All right, what do you guys want me to look at tomorrow? Tomorrow's Transportation Thursday. In phase, look to be short on in phase, champion. All right. Square, Shopify. Got it. Perfect. What else did you guys like to look at? Sophie, yes. PGY, Intel, W, GPS, CRD, Shopify, CrowdStrike, Chewy, Target, Zillow, Oracle, Redfin. All right. I'll be back, same time, same place, but different location. I'll be in Nashville, Tennessee. And until then, love life and trade. Bye.